Good morning. My name is Jacinto Arauz. I'm responsible for the mid-market business here at Yash Technologies. Thank you for participating in this webinar series on S/4HANA migration. As you're aware, SAP has communicated their end of support for ECC to be 2025. Yash Technologies has developed this webinar series to give you, our customers, visibility into what it will take for you to transition from SAP ECC to S/4HANA. With me, we have our S/4HANA experts, Swami Ramamurthy, Enterprise Architect, and Jude Sevier, who is our Pre-Sales Director. They will be covering the presentation content and also answering any questions you may have. The 4 webinar series consist of Part 1, S/4HANA Value Drivers and why begin your S/4HANA transition early. Why S/4HANA and how to get executive buying in. Part 2, we'll be covering how Yash Technologies can help in your S/4HANA transition planning, discuss customers' case studies, and understand deployment options. On Part 3, we'll be covering S/4HANA business cases and implementations roadmap, tools and factors to be considered for the implementation or transition. For Part 4, we'll do a deep dive into S/4HANA functionalities against your current ERP. What are the best practices and accelerators available? In today's agenda, we'll be covering Part 1, why S/4HANA and what are the value drivers? Why begin an S/4HANA transition early? Phases in the transition journey and how Yash can help. SAP tools and Yash services to get executive buying in, and key takeaways. At the end, we'll be opening up for questions and answers. During the presentation today, we will be placing all attendees on mute. If you have a question, please put the question in the question panels. We'll be answering them at the end of the webcast. Also, at the end of the presentation, we'll be opening up for questions or comments about the presentation today. I will now hand the control over to Swami Ramamurthy. Swami, over to you.
Thanks, Jacinto. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining the session today. When you are planning for S/4HANA transition, you may have a lot of questions in mind. Why do you have to move to the S/4HANA now? What are the different phases involved in transition to S/4HANA? To help you answer these questions, we have designed this webinar series. And then the focus of today's webinar is to help you understand what are the S/4HANA value drivers very specific to your company, and then how to get executive buy-in. Let's try to understand why S/4HANA. What are the key value drivers? You may be using the traditional ERP system now, and you know the challenges in some of your current ERP system. For example, your ECC system has got a complex GUI-based user interface, and your transaction data and analytics data in 2 separate systems, right? So you don't get the real-time data insights because of 2 separate systems. And also, if you have very large volume of data, then managing the performance is another challenge in ERP world. And also, if there is any key changes in business or any changes you want to upgrade to the higher version, each upgrade in ECC itself is a separate project. And also, this in turn lead to high cost to support, and also you must have added more complexity in your system over a period of time through various customizations. So in short, the ERP has a lot of limitations when it comes to the innovation and handle the changes. That's where the SAP S/4HANA can help you. And let's try to understand what are the key value drivers in S/4HANA. S/4HANA, what SAP has done is they've simplified the data model, and they've also simplified the processes. And it also provides opportunity for you to define a totally new business model. For example, a compressor company, instead of selling the compressor, they started selling air. So you can do this kind of outcome-based, totally new business model using S4HANA and some other innovative technologies available in SAP. So this also helps you to uh, reduce your financial close time. For example, if you look at in finance, SAP has removed a lot of aggregation tables and also removed a lot of batch processes, so which will help you to a faster financial close. The same case with if you go on a manufacturing side, it also lead to a faster MRP, material requirements planning. So these are the two major areas we see a lot of value. Most of the customers see the value. There are a lot of other areas which we have not listed here, but if you look at it in a business point of view, these are the two major areas S4HANA can add value to you. And S4HANA also comes with the principle of one architecture in the sense. And if you look at an ECC, you have your ECC system, you have supply chain, you have multiple systems. In S4HANA, it's all embedded into one single system. For example, you have embedded EWM or you have embedded PPDS. So it's more of embedded into one central system and simplifies your architecture. So that reduces your total cost of ownership. And S4HANA also helps you to reduce your overall data footprint through selective data transition, and also you can use several data archiving options. So this in turn also helps you to improve your system performance. And if you compare it with the ERP world, S4HANA provides a lot of options for you to integrate your business processes and data to other new digital technologies like IoT. If you want to mix your sensor data, your machine learning data, or any cloud solution you want to integrate, or your analytics data warehouse platform. So this helps you in a lot of integration using SAP Cloud Platform as a platform for all the integration and then innovation. So using the cloud platform, you can also decouple your S4 core with no other innovation. So this will basically help you to in any kind of upgrade. So if you want to upgrade to a higher version, so this will basically help you to not to disturb your core so that you can achieve your innovation, so which in turn lead to more agility and flexibility. But that's what needed in any IT system, right? You need to have an IT system which can quickly change, adapt to the business changes. S4HANA also comes with a lot of deployment options. You can do it on-premise or single tenant or a cloud, or you can do it multi-tenant cloud. And it also provides a lot of embedded real-time analytic comes with that as a part of standard out of box. And it also provides a lot of innovative solutions, for example, predictive and simulative capabilities. One example is I can think of predictive MRP. You don't have to actually create a planned orders in the system. You can do a simulation and then see what will be the impact, by running a simulation on the MRP. Same case, you can do it for the predictive revenue. You can also do in 1909 version, SAP also released a predictive delivery delay capability. That means system can predict your delivery delays. And finally, S4HANA also comes with a nice, easy to use Fiori interface. And this Fiori interface is not just a web-based portal. It's also more proactive. That means it also gives you suggestions. Suppose, for example, you have any order mismatch between your suppliers and what you get. So those kind of thing, it also gives you suggestions, and then what are the resolution that you can do for the end users. So it has got these kind of machine learning based algorithms, which will help you to have a quick business decisions. While S4HANA provides a lot of value driver, it also there is also challenges involved in moving your current ERP to S4HANA. SAP recently did a poll asking the customers, what are the top 3 concerns when you move to S4HANA? The result, most of the customers, 70% of the customers, they have responded saying custom code conversion is one of the key major concern they have. The second most concern they have is on the data migration, 61%. And then the third concern is on the, of course, the budget constraints and then, lack of business case. That's one of the main reason you should start planning your S/4HANA transition much early to handle those challenges. And S/4HANA also transition project also provides you opportunity for you to improve your data quality, to and harmonize your master data and organization elements. So those data, and a lot of customer they started even cleaning up a data project. For example, customer vendor integration to business partner. They started this cleanup project much early than before you start the actual S/4HANA transition project. So that way, your project can be have a quick implementation, and it also provides opportunity for you to clean up your custom code. You must have created your custom code over a period of time, and you may not have not followed the best practices. So for example, some customer we have seen they have created a custom code which is more database dependent. So that took a lot of time for us to clean up those custom code before you migrate to S/4HANA. So these kind of issues and risk can be resolved much in advance if you start your transition much early. And also not to estimate the challenges in deploying S/4HANA, especially the data model changes. For example, universal journal in finance, or could be CVA, customer vendor integration, or it could be MRP areas changes. These are all the key data model changes. What SAP has done is they removed all the aggregate tables and batch processes and then enabled more real-time functionalities and simplify the process. But these changes also involves a lot of pre and post migration activities and also calls for a lot of several rounds of system testing. So that's one of the main reason you should start your transition much early. There is also a technical prerequisite, for example, Unicode. If your current CCC system is in Unicode, you may have to want to move to S/4HANA. So first you have to convert your Unicode. That itself is a separate project. Unicode conversion is a separate project. Another key piece is the change management. S/4HANA, since we use Fiori user interface, you may have to retrain all your end users, even though you can continue to use SAP GUI depending upon the which deployment option you choose. But still, there is a lot of change management involved because human transformation is a very key important piece in any S/4HANA project. And apart from the change management aspect, that's also security and rule changes involved. A lot of customers, they have reported near about around 40% changes in their current roles and design. So you may have to start thinking about this and then accordingly plan your transition. And it is also estimated that resource availability will be another core issue when you are close to the 2025. So the longer wait may cost you more. And it may also cost you in delivering the value. For example, if you wait too much close to the 2025, then you will just do the minimum technical things to get things done to move to the S/4HANA, and you will basically not work on the value propositions. So it's always better to leverage the various value S/4HANA provide, for example, embedded analytics and predictive capabilities. So these capabilities will help you to get a quick business buy-in in your S/4HANA transformation project, and also help you to be ahead of your competitors for a better business performance. What are the S/4HANA transition journey look like? What are the phases? So there are 4 phases in S/4HANA transition journey. The first phase is to define your strategy. So this is where you have to start thinking about how S/4HANA can contribute to your business strategy or business goals. So that's a key aim of this particular phase. You also start thinking about how is my S/4HANA to be architecture align with my business strategy. So you need to answer those questions in this phase. The next phase is to develop a business case. This is where you dig in detail to understand your S4HANA value drivers, very specific to your company using some of the SAP tools, and to get an executive buy-in. Once you get an executive buy-in and all the funding for the project, then you basically either you can start parallelly or you can also start working on deployment options, various deployment options. You can also start planning for your implementation roadmap using SAP tools like readiness check. And then finally, when you start the implementation, the fourth phase, this is where you start exploring what are the best practices available, what are the accelerators available to plan for your S4HANA transition journey. So for the focus today, let's focus on the define strategy phase and then develop business case. So the focus of today's webinar is more focused on how to define your strategy and how to develop a business case to get an executive buy-in. So how Yash can help to, so we can come and help you to develop a business case. So what are the approach we follow? We typically start the engagement with doing the enterprise architecture assessment because we need to understand your as-is SAP and also non-SAP system landscape and architecture. And then we also do a discovery workshop with your business team to understand your business priorities, whether you want to go with a totally new business model or you want to do business process reengineering or you want to go with whatever you have in your S4HANA. So once we understand these two things, then basically we marry your to-be enterprise architecture with your business strategy. This is very important steps. Unless you marry these two, it's very difficult to get a business buy-in for your S4HANA project. And we have also used tools like SAP tools like Transformation Navigator, which will help you to identify to-be product roadmap and also to identify your products and capabilities in S4HANA. What the tool does is it basically you select your current capabilities and the products. A capability means I'm talking about SAP models. It's basically, finance and then MM, SD, those kind of SAP sales and distribution, those kind of models I'm talking about. So you define your current capabilities and tool proposes automatically your what is a to be capabilities in S4HANA that's available for you, depending upon your IT strategy, your IT, whether you want to move to the cloud or you want to move to the on-premise. So depending on the system, basically defines you automatically the to-be product roadmaps. So that will be the very good starting point for you to understand your overall SAP landscape, to-be landscape before you start, the actual projects. So once you did this exercise, the next step is you start developing your business case. So this is where you have to identify your S4HANA value drivers, very specific to your company, using a tool called SAP BSR, Business Scenario Recommendation. And if you have very difficult stakeholder to get a business buy-in, then we also recommend to use Yash proof of concept services. So by doing a quick proof of concept, you can show the business value indirectly in real system, and also it helps you to identify any risk or any risk like data migration issues or any custom code issues much in advance before you start this for a project. And we have listed the blogs, a link to the blogs also. You can see our blogs to get more details. Okay, how to get your business buy-in? So SAP BSR, Business Scenario Recommendation for S4HANA. This is a new tool. The tool was there for quite some time, but in September, SAP released a new version called New Generation BSR. So with the new generation BSR tool, it answers all your questions on why S4HANA. Why should I move from ERP to S4HANA? And what are the valuable S4HANA business scenarios that helps me to get us secure a business buy-in? And what are the recommendations by each line of business? So this tool basically answers those questions. Let me quickly directly jump into the tool. This is just an example result of the final result of the business scenario recommendation. How the tool works is basically it takes all your production usage data and then it compares with benchmark data what SAP has collected over a period of time, and then it provides you the business, your current system, what is the business performance insights, and also it recommends what are the to be business scenarios that add value to you. So if you click on executive summary in this report, you can see for various line of business, for example, finance, manufacturing, sales, you can see what are the customer recommendations. You can see how I'm using it, what are the usage level. And if you're talking to the head of manufacturing, you just click on manufacturing and you can see the value drivers for the manufacturing. So this case, you can see for this particular customer, we see accelerate manufacturing cycle time. That means how should I produce faster or reduce my manufacturing cost? How should I produce cheaper? So if you want to see the findings, you can click on the finding, then it basically gives you the results business performance insight in the form of traffic light concept. That means anything that is red, that means your bottom 25% when compared to the benchmark. Anything that is green means you are top 25% compared to the benchmark. Anything that is yellow, that means you are in the average compared to the benchmark. And you can see the value drivers for each process steps, like production planning, production order creation, blah, blah, blah. But you can see, let's take an example for the production planning, the first box. You can see the business performance insight. In this case is there are 1,615 planned orders created, but they are not converted in time. So you want to understand more detail on this particular business performance insight, you just click on it. And in the left-hand side, you can see how you are performing with respect to the benchmark. And in the middle, you can see where this particular issue is happening. You can see the plan 7. That's where the whole, the plan orders are not converted. You can see 56% of the issues, the orders are pending with the plan 7. And you can also right-hand side see what are the possible root causes, why this is happening. Could be issues with your planning data, or you may be doing, production planning. Part of the production planning maybe you're doing outside SAP system. And it also gives you possible impact. So this gives more details into the insights. And then if you click on to overview, and it also helps you to identify what are the possible S4HANA business scenarios that helps me to, to resolve this particular issues that I'm seeing now in this tool. So the blue section basically tells you all the SAP business scenarios that's help you to add value. So I'm going to click on this material requirement planning. When I click here, it gives more details on this each business scenario, any value drivers very specific to this business scenario, and what is new in S4HANA. For this particular MRP business scenario, what is new in S4HANA? For example, SAP provides MRP cockpit. It also provides PPD as embedded functionality in S4HANA. It provides more demand-driven MRP. So those are all the things that can add more value in S4HANA. And in the bottom side, you can see which are all the most used transaction in your current system. And also you can see the details of the business scenarios. And you can also see the details of what are the recommended Fiori apps. And then if you click on, apart from giving you the business performance insight, and then also giving you the recommended S4HANA value, recommended scenarios, the tool also gives you the recommendation. If you click on recommendation, it gives for each line of business, in this case manufacturing, which are all the business scenarios that you are using it and how your industry peers are using it. In this case, let's see example. For example, if you see production scheduling, you see only 1 star mark. That means this customer is using it very less. But if you look at their peers, they got 3 star mark. That means you can see in industry popularity column. So that's being heavily used by your peers, but you are only using very little of that particular functionality. So that will help you to convince your business stakeholder and get executive buy-in. And it also provides, if you click on additional business scenarios, it also lists you what are the business scenarios which you are not using that you can start exploring in S4HANA. Apart from this, the tool also gives you a next step. When you click on next step, it helps you what are the steps you need to develop a business case and how you can plan your project using some of the tool like readiness check and those kind of tools. So in short, the BSR tools will help you to initiate a discussion with your key business stakeholder and then get a business buy-in. Let me quickly go back to the presentation again. Now I hand over the session to my colleague Jude, who will talk about the benefits of proof of concept services. Over to you, Jude.
Thank you, Swami. So let's look at some of the benefits of proof of concept to build a business case. S4HANA conversion or a greenfield implementation is an important transformation exercise. One of the strong reasons of companies not moving to S4HANA is the absence of a business case. So given this situation, we can use the POC as a path to building the business case as well as keeping the cost down. This is where Yash can help customers. There are several benefits of using a POC to drive the business case. Let's look at some of them. The demonstration of a successful business case helps the business to make up their minds of going ahead with the project and getting their buy-in. We can also identify the business benefits. When we look at the benefits, some of them which come to mind are the impact from a user perspective. What has changed? What has been enhanced? What new functionalities have come as part of S4HANA, which adds value, and how they can be leveraged. Arrive at some of the key benchmarks for each of the pain areas and verify them and show how S4HANA brings about value to the business. The risks can be identified well in advance so that we can devise a strategy on how to mitigate them, especially with respect to the data and the custom code. Identifying any technical issues in the mitigation and the conversion process. That's one important area that we can concentrate on. And any applicable SAP nodes which needs to be applied. So we can sequence them, identify them, and keep it ready for the actual implementation. Issues with add-on and third-party solutions. Some solutions need to be upgraded to the next version, like Vistex, for instance. Partners normally try to match the latest version of SAP with theirs, even though there's a time lag. Tweaks may need to be applied to ensure that the data moves seamlessly into S4. Companies doing a greenfield have the opportunity of reimagining the business process and leverage some of the advanced functionality delivered with the S4HANA, which includes features such as advanced ATP, detailed scheduling, demand-driven MRP, a rich UI, and advanced analytics. Furthermore, with more and more applications being launched on the cloud, you have the opportunity of leveraging the SAP Cloud Platform, the SCP as we call it, which provides a platform for integrating all cloud solutions like SF, Ariba, and IBP. Okay. So implementation versus conversion. So the move to S4HANA is a great opportunity to take a relook at your business processes and see how you would like to bring it over to S4HANA as it is, or in the light of the new data model, would like to go and do a greenfield, starting from scratch. So the choice of a greenfield versus a conversion, also called a brownfield, depends on several factors. Do we intend to keep the data and the custom code as it is? If that is the case, then conversion is a better option. if the data, custom code, and other elements in the current system satisfy the conversion prerequisites, perhaps we should look at conversion. Are we considering moving the entire system with all its components, entities in one go? Or are we doing a phased approach, for instance, the central instance in the first phase and the rollout to other entities in a phased manner? Do we need to start from scratch and build the system new based on the new data model? If the data quality is good and there is a process governance within the company which is mature and stable, then conversion perhaps is a better alternative. If the enhancements, the custom code, becomes redundant with the S/4HANA, then perhaps a greenfield may be advisable, as you have the opportunity to engineer the business processes differently. However, if there are enhancements and functionalities built in which are crucial for the business and needs to be continued, then perhaps conversion is the way to go. So we should ask ourselves the question, all that we have built so far with the current system, are they assets or are they innovation blockers? Finally, we can summarize the key takeaways from this session. Why move to S/4HANA and the reasons for planning the transition early? Prepare for the transition approach and the challenges for the S/4 journey. Even before you go ahead with the implementation, leverage the tools from SAP, such as the BSR, to identify the value drivers. Implement a POC to demonstrate the business benefits and get a business buy-in. And then finally, what is the path to S/4HANA? Which strategy to adopt? Greenfield or brownfield? These are the aspects which you will need to consider on your path to S/4HANA. So with this, we come to the end of the webinar content, and I pass the control on to Jacinto. Over to you, Jacinto.
Thank you, Jude. Appreciate it. So now we're going to open the webcast for questions. If anybody has a question, they can go ahead. There were a couple of questions that were put in the question panel. One of them is it recommended to implement LEWM in S/4HANA?
Yeah, thanks, Jacinto. I can take that question. Yeah. So what SAP recommends is you to basically use EWM S/4HANA, because EWM is a strategy product for S/4HANA. It's embedded EWM. SAP is embedded EWM in S/4HANA, but it also SAP did a lot of exercise with a lot of customers, and then the customers, a lot of customers also demand, they don't want to disturb their current warehouse management. So SAP has decided to move the current LE warehouse management into the S/4HANA. So it is still available, but SAP's recommendation, but there won't be any kind of further enhancement will be done on warehouse management. It's all the enhancements will be further done only on the EWM space. So the LEWM is still available, but it's recommended is for EWM is recommended for S/4HANA.
Okay, thank you, Swami. I have one more question. Which tools do you recommend for data migration for S/4HANA?
Yeah, I can take that question. So typically we recommend to use SAP Migration Cockpit. If you don't have much of a data quality, or if you don't have much of a data transformation issues, then you can just simply take the data and upload it in S/4HANA. But if your data quality is not good, and if you have a lot of data transformation need to be done, then we recommend to use data services. These are all the two tools mainly used to move the data into the S/4HANA.
Okay, thank you, Swami. Is there a DB or OS version upgrade required in S/4HANA, in an S/4HANA conversion project?
Yeah, so Jacinto, I'll take that question. So as you know, you may be on an Oracle version or on a SQL database. And also you might be on a Windows server. So the prerequisites for S/4HANA are that you have to be on a HANA database. Current version is 2.0, and Linux is the operating system which has been advised. So you may have to consider the changes to this, and maybe the HANA license is something that you probably need to consider. So if you already have a HANA license and these in your landscape, then we probably could do this within your landscape by provisioning some system out and doing it as a POC within your current landscape. But these are things that you probably need to consider, and we can have a detailed discussion around these.
Okay, thank you, Jude. There was a question about the tools that Swami showed, if there was a cost around those tools. Actually, all those tools are made available by SAP for free to help you during the migration process. So doesn't seem like there are any more questions. So
so Jacinto, I just want to I see one question in the chat window. What are the recommendations for SAP BPC 10.1 and Classic? So the recommendations are that BPC can still be used with the S/4HANA, but as you know, SAP has come up with the embedded version of the BPC on the S/4HANA. So it would be a better choice to move to the SAP, the BPC on the S/4HANA. Right now, with the 1610 and the 1710 version, the planning was pretty much stable. And after that, I think the consolidation has also become stable. So you can move to the S/4HANA. You can consider moving to the BPC on the S/4HANA.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Jude. Jude, there is another question that what is available in S/4HANA with respect to business process management, including workflow?
So you have many workflows which you can use as part of the standard in the S/4HANA itself, and you have the capability to build many more in the S/4HANA system.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So that concludes the presentation for today. Just a reminder, the next webinar is next month, and it will be covering how YASH technologies can help you in the transition planning. So I hope you guys join us for that webinar. And with that, we conclude the session for today. If you have any questions, you can send me an email to jacinto.aruz@yash.com. I'll be happy to get an answer for you. Have a great day. Thank you very much.